He is the former Major League Baseball pitcher, Cy Young winner, World Series champ, six-time All-Star, joining us on behalf of DraftKings. CC Sabathia back on the program. When's the last time you were called Karsten?
Wow. Maybe like 7th to 8th grade. I went by Karsten for a long time in school, and then my friends, growing up, they just kind of took over, and CC kind of took over about like right in high school.
But then you have a son, so you have CC the third.
Yeah, but he goes by Karsten. So everybody calls him Karsten. Everybody calls him Karsten.
Is he going to change, though, once he gets to high school?
He's in high school, so he's a junior. And,
okay.
I think just living here in the Northeast, being in Yankee land, I guess, it's just easier for him to go by Karsten than CC. So, we called him Little C for a long time, and he wanted to be called Karsten in about the 8th or 9th grade. So we kind of flip-flop.
When's the last time you threw a baseball?
Oof. I tried to throw BP to my boys about 2 weeks ago. It didn't go too well. Liked it. Shoulder's still not there yet.
They took you deep?
I couldn't even get it there. I couldn't even get it there for them to take me deep. So it's pretty sad right now if you watch me throw a baseball. Did you see the first pitch I threw out?
Yeah.
It's kind of like that.
Wow.
On a regular right now.
Wow. I was wondering if you were going to be in front of the mound.
I should have. You know what? And I was like, should I go to the front of the mound? Because when I was pitching, I always I didn't get mad, but just annoyed when people ran out to the mound. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm about to go. This is my workspace. Like, stay off the mound. So then I got out there and I went to the mound, and I get on the mound. I'm like, this is a little too far. I'm not going to make it. I knew I wasn't going to make it immediately when I stood out there.
I was wondering, a couple of things here. Walker Buehler has problems with blisters. Mm-hmm. But I don't know, do pitchers get calluses? Like a guitar player gets calluses and then it doesn't affect you. But how does some pitcher, why are they more susceptible to blisters?
You know what? It's weird. You either get calluses or you get blisters. So I was always a guy that I would get like hard skin, like calluses. I can see where guys, like in the same spot where the guys would get blisters. So I can see how that could affect you and how some guys, couldn't pitch with that. And it really, really hurts. But mine would just build up like a really hard callus. And by like May, I was good to go for the rest of the season. But I can see how some guys, can develop blisters. But you either get blisters or it just develops a really hard skin that kind of turns into a callus. So there's no way around it. You kind of get both.
But how do I then treat a blister? If it happens during a game, is there anything you can put on it? Do anything?
There's really nothing that you can do. And, they have these things that they try, like the liquid, skins and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But it ends up ripping off, especially as soon as you put pine tar on or, the rosin, anything that try to keep your hand sticky, especially in these playoff games. You know what I mean? You're making big pitches, you're sweating, your hands get sweaty. So you gotta have your hand dry. And as soon as you do that, ripping off the ball rips off any kind of medicine or anything they put on there. And then you're back raw again. So it's really tough. I watched AJ Burnett go through that, and it just sucks, man. It's really, really tough thing to deal with.
What did you think of Walker Buehler's pants last night? Because you wore the baggy ones.
Yeah.
Like these are stretch yoga pants he had on.
Yeah, that's the new age, man. You know what I'm saying? Everything comes back. It's like the kids now, when I was growing up, it was the baggy shorts was the bigger, was the thing. And now they're going back to like the 70s and 80s shorts. My son plays basketball too, and the smaller the better these days. So everything comes back.
I don't know if the smaller the better, the tighter the better, though, CC. I can't imagine you out there. If you were pitching now, you would be in those capri pants that Walker Buehler had on last night.
Absolutely not. But as I got older and, some of these younger kids came up, they would give me a lot of crap about how big my pants were. As, when I was in the middle of my career, it was cool to wear big pants. So, yeah, I mean, I turned into the old, not fashionable guy at the end of my career.
But you didn't have that at Cleveland when you pitched.
The tight pants?
Yeah, no, baggy pants.
I did. I started wearing the baggy pants about 2004 or 5 when I deemed myself a veteran, old enough to kind of do whatever I wanted. The first couple of years, I just wore whatever they gave me, which ended up being like tight, and then I had the elastic at the bottom so it would bunch up. It was a very bad Greg Maddux look, I guess I would have to say, earlier in my career.
And you're in Cleveland, and you're there at the time LeBron is still in high school, I believe.
Yeah.
When did you get word that there was this two-way sports star in the area?
Right away. Our trainer with the Indians, Paul Spicuzza, he reffed high school football and basketball games. And he would always tell me about this kid. LeBron was a freshman at the time. And he was like, you got to come see this kid play basketball. You know, he's going to be the next Michael Jordan. And he would always say, you know, this guy's a great football player. Just come out and see it. And I'm like, listen, I don't have time to go watch a ninth grader, like a 14-year-old go play. Like, I got other stuff to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, last thing I want to do is go watch a ninth grader. Fast forward to the next year, he's a sophomore, and they're playing the state championship, and it was really close. And Paul goes, just come with me to the game. You know what I'm saying? It'll be worth it. So I ended up going with me and my wife, and it was the LeBron James you see now. You know what I'm saying? He was a man amongst boys, and you know, it was must see, you know, basketball, and turned into must see TV. So, you know, watching him at 14, 15 years old, you knew that this is what he was, you know, going to turn into.
He's CC Sabathia, the former Cy Young winner and World Series champion 2009 with the Yankees. How nervous would you be if you're a Dodger fan, given what's at stake, Clayton Kershaw today against the Braves?
You know what? I feel pretty good about Kershaw going out there today. You know, he's obviously, you know, found his velocities tick back up. You know, he's found a way to pitch with the lesser velocity. You know, he's older now, and I think just at some point these things have to turn around. So I would be a little nervous, but I would actually feel pretty good about Kershaw going out there, considering how he pitched all year this year, and even, you know, in his last playoff start until he gave up the back-to-back homers. But you know,
but how much of this is mental, though, CC, when it comes to playoff baseball? And especially with pitchers. There are just some guys like Andy Pettit, Kurt Schilling, Smoltz. They're just guys that say, I love the moment. Give me the ball. And, you know, good things happen.
Yeah, you know what? I can speak to myself. I had to grow into that. Because if you look at the way I pitched in 2007 playoffs, if I pitch, you know, the way I pitched the rest of my career in the playoffs, we won the World Series in Cleveland. You know, so I had to kind of grow into, you know, wanting the ball and kind of understanding my body and, you know, not letting the moment be too big. So, yeah, I mean, it's 1,000% mental. When it starts to pile on and, you know, you hear all these different things, and then, you know, you got your rival, the Giants, and you got Bumgarner going out there. He's dealing every postseason. Yeah, it starts to play with your mind. But, you know, hopefully he can get past this. And he's such a great pitcher. I mean, if he stopped pitching right now, he's going to the Hall of Fame. So you don't want this one thing to be a knock. So hopefully he can pitch these guys to a World Series, because if he pitches the way he pitches in the regular season and the postseason, the last 5 years, they have a title. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So you start to believe it's your fault.
What's it like to go out on the mound and you know you don't have it?
Man, you know what sounds crazy? I never knew that when I didn't have it. Like, I always thought I was like,
but you found out, though. You did find out.
I found out pretty quick, but I'm always like one pitch away. You know what I'm saying? Like, bases loaded. I already left 7 runs in the first inning, but I'm still one pitch away from getting out of it. So I was really stubborn and, you know, not a good self-evaluator in that way, to always think that I can go out and get out, even at the end of my career. So, yeah, I mean, I always thought I had it.
Do you have a baseball nearby?
Let me see. Yeah, it's one right here. Yep, it is a Mariano Rivera signed baseball. So.
So if you were going to show like a normal grip, like, do you know how Kershaw grips, like his curveball, or, you know, does he do anything different, you being both left-handed?
Yeah, no, I don't. I wish I could. I wish I would, you know, pay attention to that. I looked it up. But when I did throw a curveball, it was just right here on the seam like that.
So you're digging your nail in the seam.
I didn't really dig my nail in, but I kind of like spiked it.
Okay.
But I didn't like dig my nail in like a lot of those guys, just because I was always scared about tipping my pitches. So I would always think like maybe somebody can see that, my nail up or something like that. So I always wore bigger gloves and, like, you know, make sure they were really stiff, just so I can, you know, hide my changeup in there or be digging around for the ball and not really, you know, worry about somebody seeing what I was grabbing.
How did Mariano hold the ball for his slider?
Well, his cutter.
Cutter.
it was across like that.
And if you threw the same pitch, not the same reaction.
Not the same reaction.
Isn't that amazing, though?
Yeah, you know what? So Mo and Andy really taught me the cutter, which saved me, my last 4 years of my career. And I kind of learned Mo's grip, but I wanted Andy's arm action just because I knew I couldn't ever mimic what Mo was doing with the ball. You know what I mean? So I just tried to get mine as close as to Andy Pettit as I could. So I would talk to Andy more about what he was actually thinking about the cutter, but I would always use Mo's grip.
You didn't smear the autograph, did you?
Nah, if I do, I can get another.
What are you doing with DraftKings?
So we teamed up with DraftKings through the playoffs, just trying to get people engaged with the product. I'm a big daily fantasy player, so it was easy and exciting to team up with them. And, we teamed, throughout the championship series, we've been, just doing interviews and letting people know about the product.
Do you do fantasy football?
I do.
But you almost played college football, right?
I did, yeah. So this week was like the classic, like what you don't want as a fantasy player. I have Pat Mahomes, but then my Raiders were playing Kansas City, and we never beat Kansas City in Kansas City. It's been 20 years since we beat Kansas City in Kansas City. So I was a little bummed out that, like, we shut them down so much because I needed the win in fantasy. But I was super excited that the Raiders got a win in Kansas City. So that's kind of like, if you're a super fan of a team, that's kind of like the downside of playing fantasy,
But being a Raider fan, like, you're okay that they went to Vegas?
I am. As a fan, I grew up an LA Raider fan, obviously the early 80s. So, I wasn't really connected. I mean, I'm super connected to the Oakland Raiders being from the Bay, but I traveled to LA to go watch them, and I have no problem traveling to Vegas. As an athlete playing in the Oakland Coliseum, I'm excited that these guys have a new place to play, man. Like,
oh my God,
Coliseum, man, is an awful, awful, awful place to play sports. So
even to go watch a game, I went
to watch a game.
Oh, I went to watch a baseball game there. It was the Royals against the A's, and I remember there were like 4 guys who came rolling out of the top deck. They were fighting with each other. There was no fans there whatsoever. That might have been the worst stadium in all the sports.
It had to be, because you're not connected. For a baseball game, you're so far away. It's so much foul territory. You know what I'm saying? Like, and as a fan of the Raiders, you just want nice stuff. Like, you go to these other stadiums and you see like nice suites and all of this stuff. And so now I'm excited to have a brand new stadium to go to. And, long as the Raiders are the Raiders, I'll follow them to the moon. As long as they don't change the name, I'll go wherever they go.
Are you doing more media stuff now? Are you working with ESPN, or what are you doing?
No, I did ESPN that last year that I played. Now I'm just doing my podcast. I have a podcast with Ryan Rucco, R2C2. It's on the Ringer and Spotify. And yeah, I'm just doing, little things like this. And
you should be doing more. You should be doing some stuff.
I'll try. Right now my son is traveling with baseball so much, and I just didn't want to get on the schedule where I was like locked into something, every day or every week or something like that. But yeah, I mean, I love sports. I watch all sports, and it would be fun to be able to talk about everything, not just baseball. I watch so much NFL, NBA. I watch a lot of soccer. So it would be fun to have something where I can just talk all sports all the time.
Great to talk to you again, CC. Thank you for joining us, and good luck with DraftKings.
No problem. Thanks, Dan. Good to see you.
That's CC Sabathia.